Hi there, it's Kirsten from A Journey of Self-Reliance. Today I wanted to talk about this greenhouse. Um, I had an entire video prepared and I'm not sure what happened to it. It just disappeared off my phone. So I'm in here again, re-recording. A little bit differently though this time. I had to clean the inside of this greenhouse up because it was majorly overgrown and I had a lot of weeds and things in here that we didn't want growing in here. So as you can see, this greenhouse is wood frame and it's about 15 feet long by 7.5 feet wide. And I love having a greenhouse. It was here when we bought this place in 2020 and it's been really great play space for the kids and you know, obviously getting seeds and plants going in the springtime. It's about maybe plus 1 degree, maybe 0, about that right now. So it's cool outside. There's still quite a bit of snow on the ground, but in the greenhouse, it's warmed up quite a bit. And what we find, there's one major problem that we find with the wood framed greenhouse is we have a lot of mold. All of the wood in this greenhouse has got black fuzzy mold growing on it. And it doesn't seem to matter, you know, what we've done to try and, you know, keep the humidity level, you know, lower, like coming out and making sure we open up the windows and the door just to keep it from steaming up. But right now it's got a lot of condensation on the plastic and the wood is a bit wet. So in my experience, I'm not a big fan of the wood frame greenhouse, but we're in a position where we're going to work with what we got until we can work towards what we do want, which is a steel frame greenhouse down the road, something much larger, something that we could, you know, have grow market garden vegetables and lots of vegetables for ourselves and our family. So Rory was in here and this shelf that I'm standing at here was quite a bit lower. It was about half as low as it is now, and we wanted to raise that up, and the purpose for that is be able to put garden beds underneath. I don't know if you can see this, but in that space underneath both sides we'd like to have garden beds put in. So Rory's going to come back in here and build me some garden beds, and then we'll add a bit of soil and some compost and manure, and we can get things growing in here underneath the shelves. Also along the back, we're going to run the garden across the back underneath that window there in order to have more garden space. And then also we've been talking about also extending the shelf from one side to the other so that it's like a U shape in here. Just more workspace, more seed starting space, more plant growing space, you know, whatever it is that we decide to use it for, it's here. Another thing that we plan on doing with this greenhouse is just to kind of clean it up because it's a bit mucky in here where you walk. Rory and I like things neat and tidy. It's just how we are. So the plan is just a landscape fabric, really simple once the garden beds are in, and some gravel just to keep it neat and tidy so there's no grass or anything growing in here, to keep it low maintenance. We're all about keeping it low maintenance. For any parents out there, you know what I mean. You want to keep things as easy as you possibly can. So that's the goal for this greenhouse. What else did I want to say? I wanted to talk about the garden beds. That's right. Underneath here, the purpose of having the garden beds obviously is to, you know, grow some things in here throughout the growing season and where we are in Eastern Canada. But also to later in the season, later in the summer, midsummer, I'd like to get some, at least kale going. I'm not certain of any other vegetables at this point. Kale for sure is going to be my first experiment because apparently if you can grow it to maturity in the greenhouse, and then by, you know, once the weather gets cold and you keep it at that maturity level inside a greenhouse, it will stay green. It won't grow throughout the winter, but it will stay the way it is throughout the winter. So I could easily come out and pick some fresh kale for, you know, a salad or likely more of a soup throughout the winter or into January and February. So that would be really great to have. I'd love to do that. And if you have any ideas as to other vegetables that you can do that with, please comment below so we can read those and we can learn from each other. So Sage is here right now. I just want to say hello to her. Hi, Sage.
Oh.
Do you want to come and say hi? There's Sage. You can wave or not. Anyway, that's it for today. Just talking about this greenhouse, and then our next video is going to be on building the garden beds underneath and getting that ready to plant. Thanks so much for tuning in.